Matthew 28, starting in verse 1, it says, Now after the Sabbath, as the first day of the week began to dawn, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary came to see the tomb. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat on it. His countenance was like lightning, and his clothing as white as snow. And the guards shook for fear of him and became like dead men. But the angel answered and said to the woman, Do not be afraid, for I know that you seek Jesus who was crucified. He is not here. He is risen. He is not here, for he is risen, as he said. Come, see the place where the Lord lay, and go quickly and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead, and indeed he is going before you into Galilee. There you will see him. Behold, I have told you. So they went out quickly from the tomb with fear and great joy, and ran to bring his disciples word. Verse 9, And as they went to tell his disciples, behold, Jesus met them, saying, Rejoice! So they came and held him by the feet and worshiped him. Then Jesus said to them, Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brethren to go to Galilee, and there they will see me. Now, while they were going, behold, some of the guard came into the city and reported to the chief priests all the things that had happened. When they had assembled with the elders and consulted together, they gave a large sum of money to the soldiers, saying, Tell them, his disciples came at night and stole him away while we slept. And if this comes to the governor's ear, we will appease him and make you secure. So they took the money and did as they were instructed. And this saying is commonly reported among the Jews until this day. Verse 16, Then the 11 disciples went away into Galilee into the mountain which Jesus had appointed for them. When they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. And Jesus came and spoke to them, saying, All authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things that I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Wow, amen. Hallelujah. That was powerful, huh? It was hard to read. But this is just a powerful story here of Jesus rising from the dead. And if you start at the beginning in verses 1 to 3, there were like two women, right? Mary Magdalene and Mary of Bethany. It says the other Mary. So they were on their way to the tomb that morning. They were on their way, and they probably still thought Jesus was dead, huh? They were probably going to go and prepare the body further. Remember, it was stopped by the Sabbath, the preparation of Jesus' body. So they were heading to the tomb to prepare it and maybe finish it, because they thought he was still dead. But how many know that wasn't the case? See, they expected to see Jesus' dead body, like Mary Magdalene and the other Mary. But they didn't hear. What did the angel tell them? He's not here. Wow, that's awesome, huh? That's awesome news. He is not here. It's amazing how, like in this story, it talks about earthquakes, huh? Have you noticed that? They kind of throw that in there. That was an earthquake, what does that have to do with it? You know what I mean? But the same thing, right? When he died, there was an earthquake. Yeah. Remember that? When he died, there was an earthquake. Now that he's resurrected, there's another earthquake. And you're like, what's the meaning of these earthquakes, And so I was just thinking about that, and I was like, why an earthquake? Why is an earthquake so important in Jesus' death and even in his resurrection? You guys know? If not, we'll call it a day, No, I'm just kidding. But I was just kind of like, I don't know, that kind of bothered me. I was like, why an earthquake, Maybe it's a power of some sort, right? Saying maybe it's some kind of a signature thing where maybe it's saying that Jesus died. When he died, it shook and the earthquake happened. And then during the resurrection, when he rose, another earthquake said, maybe he rose, Maybe it's some kind of signal to say that, hey, Jesus rose from the dead, So, but, that kind of threw me off. Every time I read scriptures and I see stuff like that, it's like, what does that mean, And so that earthquake kind of threw me off, So, but it happened at his death, now at his resurrection. It happened at both times. So the woman came to the tomb, to find the stone rolled away. And an angel sat on it. Isn't that awesome? It says an angel was just kind of kicking back, huh? Look, after the stone was rolled away. And if you look at it, this stone wasn't rolled away so Jesus would get out, huh? That's not the point, huh? Because Jesus in his resurrected body, remember, he could just walk through walls. So it wasn't really for Jesus, this stone that was rolled away. It was for others to see. The angel was showing them that, hey, look in here. He's gone. The body is gone. There's proof. Look. Jesus is gone. Let me show you, Let me roll this stone away so you can see for yourself. There's proof that he is gone. He's left, And it says that the angel's presence caused the Roman soldiers to tremble and faint. Yeah, that is kind of... Another thing that kind of throws me off is that when always a presence of God or something, people freeze or they're frozen here. But of fear or some kind of, it startles them to where it's like they can't move, Because it says like they were shocked. They were like dead men, it says. So it must be the presence of God that does something here to a person that maybe I don't know, maybe it's sin in their lives that causes them to be that way. See, the presence of God is pure and holy here. And I think sin can't really stand in that place. Every time the presence of God shows up, boom, it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? We're like stricken because the presence is so pure, it's so holy that we can't handle it. We don't know how to handle it. We'll be like these Roman soldiers. We become like dead men, you know, because the presence is so holy. It's so powerful. It's like, wow, you know what I mean? It's like the presence of purity versus the presence of impure. Yeah, we can't handle it. We can't handle God's purity. We're so flawed. We're so sinful. You know, there's things in our lives that God is still trying to get rid of. But when we run into the presence, boom, we're on our knees, right? We're on our knees crying and saying, God, forgive me. God, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure that's kind of like the picture of what's going on right here, is that even when we are in the presence of God, we become stricken here. We're on our knees and we're repenting and saying, God, forgive me. And so to me, that's probably kind of similar to that, but these Roman soldiers weren't even repenting. They were just stricken by God's presence. He is not here, the angel. He is risen. And another thing that really catches me is that the women, right? Mary Magdalene and the other women, they were faithful, right? These were faithful followers of Christ, these two women. They were the first one to run over there to check and see the body of Jesus, to prepare it, but yet they found out that he had risen. They were faithful followers of Christ. Wow. How many women in here are very faithful followers of Christ? Hey, just kidding. It's hard to raise your hand here. But there are faithful women of God like this here that follow Christ to this extent here. And we need these kind of women here in the church that will go to the extreme for Jesus. Because these two were those type of women that they were faithful to Jesus. It's almost like they will follow him, to a fault. You know what I mean? They didn't care. They'll follow him. These were faithful women of God. And that's exactly what we need in the church here. We need faithful women of God here. But we need faithful men of God here. We need faithful men of God too. So we need both. So these faithful women heard what they did not expect to hear, Lela, that he is risen. He is risen. Faithful. Keep being faithful. He says, come see the place where he lay. The stone was rolled away so they could see for themselves and so they can be persuaded. The angel was telling them, that this is enough. He was saying that this is real. What happening is real. This is not something that is like a fantasy. The angel instructs Mary, Magdalene, and Mary. Go quickly and tell the disciples that he is risen. I mean, that's urgent news. Yeah. He says, go quickly. How many know that that's kind of hard for us to do? When somebody says, go quickly, we seem to do the other way, huh? It's like we kind of slack even more. It's like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week, And you hear the angels telling, do it right now. Go tell the good news right now. But we say, nah, I'll wait. I'm going to wait. I'll do it another time. I'm not ready. But this was exciting news. How many can feel the excitement of the resurrection? I can. You? It's like, wow, this is Resurrection Sunday, you know. We should be excited, not right? We should be happy that we have a risen Savior here that is here with us. He's not dead. He's not still in the tomb. He's alive here. He is not in the tomb. That tomb is empty. All other religions, whoever started those religions, they're all still buried. They're still all in their tombs or in their graves, but not us. Jesus is not in the tomb. So there's excitement there. So Mary Magdalene, they met him, and look at what Jesus said when they met him. Rejoice! Wow. And as they went to tell his disciples, behold, Jesus met them, saying, rejoice. Wow. We can stop there. Here. That is the whole picture. Kind of just brightens everything up. It's like, wow, rejoice. Nitong I'm standing right here before you. Rejoice. Don't be sad. Don't be fearful. Yeah. Rejoice because I'm here. I'm standing right beside you. And I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going anywhere. So they came and held him by the feet and worshiped him. There's something about meeting God that just makes you want to worship him here. And they knew, they knew it was him. And then so they just like, boy, we're going to worship him. And Jesus received their worship here. Why did Jesus receive their worship? Because he's God here. He's a God that receives our worship. Every time we worship him, he receives it. He just loves it, that we are giving our hearts to him, our all to him. The content of our heart when we worship. Then Jesus said to them, do not be afraid. Go and tell my brethren. Wow, that's new, right? He didn't say, go tell my disciples. I think this is the first time ever where Jesus used the word brethren to describe his disciples. He has never done that before. It was always his disciples. But now that he's getting ready to ascend into heaven, look at it. He calls them my brethren. My brothers. He says the same thing to us here, my brothers. My brother tells me that, you know what, God is saying that we can still continue to have a relationship here. Yes, I died, but now I resurrected. Now in my resurrection state, we can still have a relationship to his disciples. He was telling me, let's continue this relationship. And there they will see me. But then here comes not kind of like the bad part of it, where there's a cover-up, where they're covering up the resurrection, saying that it didn't happen. So how many know that there's always people like that that's just going to mess it up here? Here you're on fire for God, everything is going good, and then somebody just kind of like throws water on your fire, you know what I mean? And here, look at this. It says that they were covering up this resurrection. They said that it was a lie, right? It didn't happen. They stole the body, the dila. It didn't happen. The disciples came in the night and they stole the body. They were lying. The Roman soldiers lied about it and said it didn't happen. Tell them his disciples came at night and stole him away while we slept. So they were lying. Yeah, the Roman soldiers were lying. So if the Roman soldiers were asleep, they were, breaking their own rules. Yeah. These were elite soldiers that probably supposed to stay up all night and not fall asleep. But this was just a cover-up. They're just saying, let's tell them that it didn't happen. It never happened. So they were rejecting the fact that Jesus was resurrected from the dead. And then look at verse 15. It says, so they took the money and did as they were instructed. And it says, to this day, the Jews use this. Yeah, they're still using it to this day, as they were instructed. And this saying is commonly reported among the Jews until this day. So just think about all the Jews that are not believing in the resurrection. They're saying that, it didn't happen. It never happened. So that's sad. Yeah. Because these are Jews. They should be the ones that are believing God more, But yet, I'm glad we're the ones who believe. Yeah. We're the ones who believe in God. Look at where we're at. We're in small little Cedar Creek, but yet we're believing in a risen Savior. Yeah. We were never in this story. We were never a part of it. We never really seen it, but yet we believe. Yeah. We know for sure He arose. Yeah. I know He did. You? Why? Because He's alive in me. He is alive in me. That's why I know He's risen from the dead. There are times where I can't hold it. I have to cry because I get so touched by Him. I can't hold it in. There are moments where I'm driving and I just get touched and I go, praise the Lord. And tears is rolling down my eyes. And I'm thanking God. I said, I know You're alive. You know what I mean? Because You're alive and well in me. You are living in me. And He's a living in you. Still here. That's why we know He's alive. We don't have to cover it up. It's real to us. And then here comes the Great Commission in verse 16. Then the 11 disciples went away into Galilee to the mountain which Jesus had appointed for them. When they saw Him, they worshiped Him, but some doubted again. See that? Some doubted. I understand, that some will hesitate. Some will kind of hold back. I don't know about this Christian stuff, I'm going to, they hesitate. But God wants to remove those hesitations from us. He doesn't want us to doubt. He wants us to just come and worship Him as we please, with no doubt in our hearts. And then in verse 18, and Jesus came and spoke to them, saying, all authority has been given to me in heaven and in earth. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things that I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the earth, or the end of the age. Wow. What a great way to go out here. He gave them final instructions before His ascension. So all authority. So this is a command here to go out and make disciples. The authority, it guides us, right? It empowers us. He's given us everything, right? So don't tell na fanay still la. Go na fiktiya. Go. That's it. Da move, right? Go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them. Wow. Go. Ju sentao da yeah. Ju yeah. How many likes to just sit around and kick back and watch, I don't know, Netflix? What? Netflix sounds better here. HBO, lali dayo YouTube. We'd rather just kick back and do those things here. But Jesus gave us an important order. It's not even an order, it's a command. Go. Right? Just before he ascended, it says, go and make disciples. Go and share the word of God. We need to keep doing this, yeah, especially in the last days. Last days, isn't it? So let's go with I'm going to share the word attitude, right? Amen. So this morning, I'm going to I just thought I'd give you a short message, kind of reflect a little bit on the risen Christ. Amen. So I thank God for this day. Thank God for that experience.